What up, everybody? It's Mikey Wine here once again, aka Gundamonium Works, and it's episode, part 7 of this project since I started making videos for it. This is I'm doing a lot of the base work right now. The Valkyrie is done, so that's been set aside, and now I am doing panel lining and decal work on the base. This is the back wall. I have some other parts that are already painted and clear coated, and you can see this is the back wall. You can see the nice gloss coat there. I've already panel lined these two sections. I'm going to do these two and then do all the structural pieces. I really like the way the paint came out on this. Originally I started painting everything this one color, including the struts and stuff, the structural part of the, what looks like the structure of the beams and stuff like that. I was doing it all this color, but then I realized I needed some color separation. So I decided on a separate color, and I'm really happy with it because it kind of gives some nice color separation, some nice contrast between the actual wall and then the structure of the beams and stuff, So I'm going to do some panel lining and probably some decals. And last week we were here and I was masking off these pieces. So these are all painted as well and clear coated, ready for panel lining. And again, this looks really nice. I'm really happy with the colors that I chose. Just to recap, the floor of the base was done in Mr. Color 331, which is a dark sea gray, is what their color is. The back wall is done with 324, which is a light gray. Okay. And then the structure, the beams and the color separation here is done with 317, which is another gray. I'm assuming some kind of aircraft gray, perhaps, but anyway, so those are ready to be panel lined. I still have to do that. I have painted and panel lined the floor. So here's the base, the floor of the base, I should say. It's still gloss coated, so you're getting that shine, but all of the little tie down cleats have been painted and everything's panel lined, which is, it looks really nice. It'll be nice when I start putting some weathering, maybe a little bit of, maybe some oil stain or something like that. It'd be a nice added touch. And then that'll come along as we keep going forward here. As far as the back wall, I started doing, when I was masking everything off, I was looking a little bit closer at the details on these little panels, these little axis panels or something. You can see kind of the ones I painted with a darker color. On some of them, there's a little tiny rectangle, but looks like it could be some kind of a window or a gauge or something that, if you were to look at an electrical panel, you would see a little window there or something inside. So I got the idea, and one of the funny things is, hey, what's up, Ron? Imperial March, baby. I got the idea, and if George is here and listening, I'll, we go into a lot of these projects sometimes with the idea of keeping things simple and not going too crazy as far as whether it be lighting or modifications or something like that. And then as a builder that has been building a long time and start going, oh, well, this would look cool, and I want to add this to it. So my point is, after looking at these little panels here, I decided that wouldn't these be cool if they had some fiber optics? So what I'm going to do, and here I'll show you, like over here on this little guy, you can see that little rectangle there. There's a few panels that have those. I thought those would be nice to have a couple little fiber optics, maybe a red blinking light or just a static green or static white, something like that. And because this is the back wall, it's another little added detail to the whole background. I think, that's what, for dioramas anyway, that's what does it for me. When you initially walk up to something and you're checking it out, it's like, oh, that looks cool. You see the kit and the star of the show right in the middle. But then you start looking around and you start seeing the little details. And that's really what makes it come to life, I think, those little added things. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some fiber optics to the back of this. And it's only going to take me a couple extra LEDs in the back to add those lights. That never works. I want to read some comments here. Hold on a second. That never works. I keep adding more and more. Yeah, I know. I keep adding more and more, Angel. That's the problem. Maybe it's not a problem, but that's why these things take so long. Originally, we used to be able to smash out a kit in 30 days or something like that. But now these things take months because I'm always adding new stuff to it. So you had fibers at the same rate that I had gold. This is from Ron. What do you mean gold? Are you talking about just like a color of paint, or are you talking about actual gold? Oh, my wife's asking me what my broadcast is called. I'm going to answer her real quick here. On YouTube. You gotta figure it. Now my wife wants to watch from the other room. So anyway, I'm correct. Never met a kid that didn't have gold paint to it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Everybody's got their little, their own little style and their own little, what do you call it? Like almost like a signature that you put on your builds. There's like one little thing that is common to everything you build. If yours is gold paint, hey, that's awesome. I'm not sure what mine would be. It's probably lighting or fiber optics or weathering, all those things kind of lumped together. I finished these two sections here. I haven't panel lined the structures yet. I'm going to do these two tonight as well as we're talking here, and I'm going to maybe get to this stuff. But what I really want to do is maybe get the panel lines down on these two, and then I can look at some of the decals I have and figure out what I want to put on these little panels. Some warning decals or high voltage or something along those lines. I'm using Gaia Notes. Actually, no, not right. The clear coat I'm using, the clear gloss I'm using. 1 second here. I'll answer this real quick. No. Well, you have to be. She's trying to watch, so I'm going to make it. There. Hopefully she'll find it. Where was I? What was I talking about? I've got some mecha decals that I want to do, and I've got bunches of those in 1/100 scale, which I think would be perfect for this, even though this is a 148 kit. The type of decals, the warning labels, they don't have to be a specific size. They'll work out just fine. So I'm going to get started. I've got my Tamiya, just basic Tamiya panel line accent color. This is black. I've got all the browns and stuff too, but black works best for this. And then I'm using AK odorless enamel thinner to wash it up and clean it up after I'm done. So yeah. Also, one of the things I've come across the last few years were these Q-tips. Now these are from Daiso, and if you're lucky enough to have a Daiso store near you, this is the blue version, the blue Q-tips, or if you're lucky enough like me and you have a friend that lives in Canada who sends you this kind of stuff, then you're in luck. But Daiso makes these blue tipped Q-tips. There's a sharp point on one side and then a regular Q-tip end on the other, just a rounded end. They work really great for doing panel lining because they, for one, they don't leave as many fibers. Like they do break down eventually, and they do start getting kind of soft, but they don't leave behind a lot of fibers that when you're doing your cleanup process. So that's why I like them, because they'll clean the surface nicely, but they won't leave behind a bunch of stuff that you're going to have to clean off or after or before you do your next set of clear coats. Because once all this is done and the panel lines are done, then I've got to apply some decals, and I'm going to have to seal those. And I don't want a bunch of hairs and dust and whatever else on there. So it's nice to be able to use a Q-tip. You can see this here. So one end is sharp, has a little pointed tip, and then you've got this regular rounded end. But yeah, it's a little bit less cleanup when you're prepping for your clear coats after, if you don't have a bunch of hairs and fibers from your Q-tips. So anyway, I'm going to start putting some panel lines down, and you guys let me know what you want. If you've got any questions, let me know. I will answer them. Try to keep an eye on the comments as I'm going here. There's a lot of little tubes and stuff. I forgot that when these base kits came out, you can actually choose whether or not you want these little piping sections visible. They come with pieces that you can flip over. If you flip them, they're flat. Otherwise, they have these little ridges in them. For some reason, I chose to have all the pipes visible. And looking back, I probably should have flipped a few of those over, but some of them were already down and already glued in place. And there was no way to really change that. So I went with kind of like a random pattern so these weren't symmetrical. I wanted to make these back base pieces, especially the ones with the panels in them, at a random order so they don't look so, like I said, so symmetrical. Change it up a bit. More details in the end. Yeah, that's true. You are correct, sir. So and we'll see. Next step, like I said, I'm going to, I got to do all the structure parts of it later. Right now, I'm just trying to get the back wall finished, and then I can move on to the rest of it. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be taking a trip, so there won't be a live. Well, there may not be a live stream on that Sunday. It probably won't be, but there will be some kind of an update on Saturday. Maybe I can try to do a live stream sometime on Saturday and give you guys a heads up look at what's going on there. So what's this? Let me see. What's the question? What's a good way to get? What are you talking about? Eat? A drink of what wine? What's a good way to get into LEDs and fiber optics? Okay. Is that what you're asking me, Ron? Uh, I started, I think my very first kit that I put LEDs in it was, I might have put just a one or two in the head of a Gundam kit to light up the eyes. Um, Start small, Fiber optics is probably the relatively newest thing that I've started doing, um, because it actually, it's a nice way of lighting up or having different little lights that you want to add to something, but without having to add a tremendous amount of LEDs, because you're basically just dealing with all those fibers. So um, you have one LED that's lighting up any number of different fibers depending on what you're using them for. Like when I did the 120 Gerwak, Macross Gerwak kit, there was a lot of fiber optics in the cockpit and only 3 LEDs. Actually, I had a blue one behind the console, and then I had a red and a white static LED that lit up all of the lights that run in the console. So it doesn't take a bunch of LEDs, because again, when depending on how many fibers you use, and the fibers that I was using were about 0.25 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter, really small stuff. The largest I think I've used is 2 millimeter, and that was for some running lights on the Millennium Falcon that I did for a friend that was commissioned. But you only have one 5 millimeter LED or a 3 millimeter LED lighting up 50, 60 fibers. Depending on how many. I mean, that's a lot. I didn't light up that many, but it really depends on how many you can fit into a small area. Once you feed all the fiber optics to one area where your LED is going to be, then you just have to install one LED with what I do is I use a tube styrene, and that way, like 3 millimeter of an LED will fit right in there. And then you just use some gaffer tape or something to tape that in place, solder your wires, and then you've got basically a short piece of styrene tube that you can funnel all those fibers into and light them up evenly. So you get even light distribution. You don't have one or two that are dim or something like that. If you can make sure that they're clumped together nicely, it'll focus all that light evenly between all the fibers that you're using. An LED fiber stream. I need that. Well, if all goes to plan here, you will have that, because I'm going to be putting fiber optics in this. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to finish the back wall and the roof of this, because I've got all these nice details in the front, and you're only going to be you're meant to look at this surface, but when everything is assembled, there's going to be some raw finishes around the borders of it and stuff. So I haven't figured out how I'm going to seal that off. I might just take some sheet styrene and cut it up and kind of just glue everything and just finish it up so you don't see any of that stuff. But because I don't want a bunch of my wires showing. I've got some wires that are going to come from the Valkyrie and go under the floor, and then I have some in the back for the ceiling lights in this. So somehow I've got to try to hide those and just dress it up nice. I think for me, it's about the presentation of it. I mean, some people may decide not to address those things and just worry about, this is what you're supposed to look at. Don't look at the sides or the back. Just this is what you're supposed to see. But I like to at least clean those things up and make them a little bit more presentable, even though, yeah, you're not intended to look at the roof or at the top or the back, but you don't want to see I don't want to see a bunch of wires, a bunch of crap and raw finished surfaces. And just, to me, it takes away from the whole diorama. Because I think when you build a diorama, you're taking a slice of whatever that is out of, say in this case, a hanger on a ship. So you're taking it, you're cutting a section of that out and placing it on the table, and you're not going to see just bare plastic, on the top and stuff. So that's the way I look at it. That is the underground sneaky I'm after right there. The two is genius. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're getting something out of this, Ron. But you guys will see some fiber optics and stuff going in, especially once this the back of this starts getting further along in the base. Right now I'm still finishing up the basic paint and stuff with panel lining and all those things. But when I start getting to the lighting part of it, that's when it's going to get interesting. So I'm almost done with applying the panel lining to this section anyway, and then I've got to do this outer one. But I think what's nice about the Tamiya stuff, it has enough time to dry. By the time I get to the bottom of one of these sections, it's dry enough that I can go through and start cleaning it up with my Q-tips. Yeah, almost there. So if you guys like decals like me, I recommend you go to USA Gundam Store and buy some of their mecha decals. Oh, shit, it's got a bunch on there. I have sheets 1, 2, and 3 in every color. They have a gray, a red, and a white. I think more colors are on the horizon. I'm not sure when those will be available, but they're basically a generic gun or mecha. It's in the description, mecha decals. So you could use them for anything. They're warning labels, danger, descriptive type decals for any kind of Gundam or mecha kit that you're building. But the main thing is they're made by Cartograph, and Cartograph is probably by far the best decal manufacturer on the planet. I mean, there are some good Gundam decal manufacturers out there that would rival them in a close second. But I think as far as the detail and the quality, not only were these made by Tim Harkins, Child of Mecha, who actually designed the decals, but they have printed them with such finite detail that you can actually read them. I know a lot of them you need magnification to actually read them, but they are amazing. You can actually, they're no joke. They're not messing around, especially in terms of, and I'll show off a little bit of those here in a minute once I get these two this last section done. Got this last of the 4 sections of this back wall to. So Ron, you use them too, huh? Yeah, they're good. I mean, they are super clean. You are correct. They're unmatched. And the nice thing is, when they first come out, they make them in 100 and 144. So if you primarily do Gundam stuff, then you've got anything you need right there. I used a few on the Hainu. There were some danger ones that I wanted to, I think it was danger. On the heavy weapon system, there were some missiles that I wanted to have the little Danger logo on, and I found a few that were perfect, and I did those in red. But as far as just how clean they are, and they're not too terribly expensive. They're about $6 maybe for a sheet, $6 to $10 for a sheet. But after they're on sale for a while, the price comes down. Like the first few sheets that they made are now very reasonable to get. So, do yourself a favor and buy some. They're worth it for sure. So I'm just getting the last. This is a unique section. These corners with this 45-degree angle, they're kind of a unique section. They don't have the same. They don't share the same panel lines that the rest of this back wall does. I bought these chain-based kits at Anime Expo probably, gosh, I can't remember how many years, but they were made by a Korean company that is no longer in business. And I've had people ask me where to get them, and the only thing I could say is search for them online. I had two different types that I bought. This was from an octagon set, and then the other pieces were just from a standard square base set, and I combined everything together to get this. Several different iterations came together to finally settle on this design. But they're nicer than some of the base kits that I've seen online. And it's unfortunate that they're not available, or at least I haven't been able to find them in this country. Little squares and such stack well. More complex decals too. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to break some out here in a minute. Hopefully I can get a sheet that you can actually see well enough on camera, but I'll try to show them off it, and they're really, really nice. And I'm not even sure how many sheets are available. I know I have 1 through 3, but I think there's even a 4, 5, and maybe even a 6 right now. I don't know. I'll have to check with Tim on that. But I've had good experience with Cartograph. In fact, there's one Macross kit, the Minmay Guard Valkyrie VF1S kit. It's a 1/7/2 scale. Has decals from Cartograph in it, and it's one of the few Hasegawa kits that has Cartograph decals in it, and they're just amazing. They're very crisp, and they transfer really well. They're just all out, all in all, a very good decal. Very few disappointments using their stuff. Oops, I missed that panel right there. Do this access panel. These big ones don't have one of those little windows in it. I was kind of hoping they did, but I can put fiber optics in the others. They'll still look just as nice. I'm still going to put some warning or caution labels on them, because all this stuff's high voltage, right? Lots of little pipes going in all directions. This is pretty quickly going along here because this is the easy part. The cleanup's a little bit longer, but I'll show you how I do that when I get done here. I'm almost finished. I got one more section to do, and then when we're done with that, I can start the cleanup, because it's been sitting long enough to dry to the point where I can wipe off the excess and it'll still look nice. This is an enamel based, um, for those that don't know. I'm sure most of you do, but if there's anybody watching that doesn't know, Tamiya's Panaline Exit Color is a enamel based. So is the Mr. Hobby stuff is also enamel based. However, I really like, if I was to choose, I mean, I use them both, but I like the Mr. Color, but I do like the Tamiya because it's slightly thicker. Maybe the pigment is a little bit more intense. It seems it's not as thin. It's like it covers better. Mr. Color stuff is nice, maybe for its own whatever application you use it for, but when it comes to basic panel lining, I tend to go. My first go-to is the Tamiya. I'm going to check something real quick here because last time I didn't watch Twitch. Let's see if we're doing on. We're on Twitch. We're doing good. Twitch is interesting. I just added Twitch to my stream, uh, but it doesn't save anything yet. I don't have enough followers yet to save any of my videos, so I didn't get to see if it actually recorded on Twitch until tonight. I actually opened a separate window on my PC so I could see if it's on there. It looks like it's up and running just fine. Twitch is mostly gamers and video game streams and stuff like that. But there are a few artists on there doing what I do, stuff. So I had the option. I mean, I can stream on 3 different platforms, so why not? I'm not using it for anything else. So I just added Twitch. We'll see how it goes. Okay, and the last of the panels here. Whoa. Had a bunch bleed off the brush just there. Made a mess. It's all right. We'll clean it up. Cleans up easy. All right. So I'm gonna set that aside. I've got done. I didn't miss anything. Looks like okay, good. These Q-tips come in these little plastic tubes, and you can dip them off, and then they split down the center. And you just pull them apart. Package really well. I really like the way that they don't fray as much. I mean, they do a little bit because you don't wear it out, but so what I'm doing now is I'm just basically throwing. I'm going to go this section by section here. I'm just wetting that surface again where my accent color is. I'm not trying to wipe it off just yet. I'm just wetting it, and it's going to loosen it up, and then I can go back over it after a couple seconds, and it'll take off the excess that I want and leave my panel lines there. So initially, when you first apply this thinner, it doesn't really do much. You just let it sit there for a second, and then it'll do its job. And just give it a little rub, and you're good to go. Quick and painless. Got a little extra that bled over on the side here. So, and then what I do, I got these little microfiber cloths that don't leave any fibers behind. Wipe off the excess. I see a little bit just here, so I'm going to. We stole Mike from California. It's ours now. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I'm not going back. I'm going back to visit, but I'm not going back. Put a little bit down on that one line right there I missed. There we go. That's better. All right, moving down the row here. Again, I'm just wetting that surface. Each one of those lines will kind of darken up a little bit as you add this to it. And once it sits for not even 10, 20 seconds, it'll start cleaning up. It's just to loosen it up. It stays in all the panel lines you want it to. Just clean it up. As this Q-tip gets a little saturated, it will leave streaks, so you can use that to your advantage if you want. If you want that kind of streaking effect on something, you can just keep brushing until you get the effect you want. Leave it, you know. Yeah, we never spoke much, but I recognize your work on SCGMC, and oh, thanks, man. Oh, good. I don't know your real name. I'm sure. Maybe I know you. Maybe I remember you. Sorry. Let me know who you are. Send me a message. It's nice to know that I met you at SCGMC. Are you going this year? That's Vectinaut. Are you going to SCGMC this year? Let me know. Interested to see what you have, what you bring with you. As this gets worn down, you can see this Q-tip's getting really kind of soft and deformed a little bit. Eventually, it's going to have to be tossed. But what I usually do is I cut the end off and just use the sharper end for a bit, and it gets into some of those grooves, especially like over here because it's got some deeper grooves. I can use that tip to get down in there. Jordan, Ron, and I are homies. Oh, nice. And yeah, I'll be there, but I don't think I'll bring anything. Why not? I mean, are you just don't have anything finished, or are you just nice? So do you live in Washington, or are you in California yourself? Got a little bit on top of there. I had to take that off. I got a little secret to tell you. Back I'm going to be in California in 2 weeks for that event. So you're not going to see this project, but you will see behind it and the Star Wars Mandalorian season 1, episode 8 diorama that I made back. That is also packed and ready to go. Nothing finished them in LA. Oh, all right, cool. I was unfortunate to get Ron Secret Santa. That's funny. Oops! Wow, that was a mistake. I just shot a bunch of this all over my keyboard. What the hell? The last section here. I'm just going to wet this down, and I can back and clean it up. Section by section. Yeah, I'm going to cut this tip off. This one's getting worn out. All right, so that's what these are for. Let's take this, chop it off. Switch to the other side. Well, worst case, you know, you don't have anything to bring, but you can buy something there. And plenty of vendors there with some nice stuff to pick up. Minus Robot for Less because they kind of screwed themselves this year and pissed off the community. So guess what? You don't get invited back. Oh well. You have plenty of other people and vendors that will take their place. All right. Just clean this up. Move on to the last section. It's getting nice, looking good. All right. I'm gonna grab some water real quick. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right. All right. Where were we? Okay. I forgot to get some decal water, even though I have my little heater. Oops, where am I? Did I just drop it? All right. Cut this one off. Start on this one. This is inspiring. All right, man. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you in LA. LA, but we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll see GMC. Nice. That's the whole point, right? This is why I'm doing what I do. It's not because I have fun, of course. I like to be inspiring and share the experience and process and hopefully inspire people to do the same. So what I'm doing, inspire you to go build, go for it. That's the whole point. Right? Right, boys? So I'm just cleaning up this last of the sections here. I can bust out the decals and we'll figure out which ones we're going to use. It's just looking nice though. Just getting around these last edges of that one panel there. Really think some small fiber optics are going to look nice on there, because and even just a 0.5 millimeter, something pretty tiny, but just found my Q-tip I lost. Just a little bit, just to accent that background. Okay. So, a little bit more right here. Let's see where I missed. You can always go back, even if this stuff is dry for days. That enamel will loosen it up. So it makes it nice. If you do miss something, then just go back and hit it again. Give it a couple little seconds, and then you can wipe it right back off. So that is all panel lined. It's nice and rich. Very dark. It's a little bit brighter on camera than it is in person. So talking about these in the beginning, which was the Mecha decals, and I've chosen. I've got 3 sets of each color, but for the sake of showing you guys, you'll see them a little better. So this is gray, 1, 2, and 3, sheets 1, 2, and 3. Oh boy, that's going to wash out, isn't it? Let's see if I can take it out of the package and maybe make it less reflective. So I've got a little piece of protective paper in there. Yeah, I've got an entire sheet. This is the 1/100 scale, and there's just a bunch of different Gundam, type Mecha decals. And you do yourself a favor and go and buy some. I mean, they are so super crisp, so clean, and really, really well made. You won't be disappointed. But I think for this kit, because I'm using gray colors, I'm going to. I also have those in red as well. It's all in red. I've also got some. These are like general diorama type stuff, decals that I bought over the years. Got a couple sheets of these. I might use some of this black and yellow warning. Put that on the floor maybe in certain places. I've also got some generic numbers, different sizes, different colors, white and gray. And then I got some leftover Warhammer decals. I don't know what these are. I feel like Q-Tip Beyonce. I'm not getting the full. I'm putting that on. Well, maybe you're using the wrong ones, Ron. So these are actually some leftover Warhammer decals, but I took them out because I was looking at the numbers on here. I might use some, but I don't know. I put 09 for Bay 9 on this, so there's no 9s on the Warhammer stuff, so I may not be able to use those. I'm going to take these out of the package here so I can look at them a little bit closer. Yeah, they do. You should know, James. It came off your nameplate, I believe. So that's number 3. I actually just mark this so I don't forget which set this is. Well, I can take a look at the other ones. I'm just going to put a little 3 on there, corner. So put that one. Yeah, here's number 2. I think I'm leaning towards number 2 or 3. But I'm going to take a look at all here. Let's see. So yeah, there's some beware sticker or beware decals here. Look nice, but let's see what number two looks like. This is number two. Oh, yeah, pretty sure that's number two. Yeah, number two is the big one, and then this is number one. Just don't want to track. So number one is nice. Number two also has some caution, danger, caution, attention. And remember, all of these are legible. If you look at them in magnification, they are all legible decals. They're just amazing. And the carrier film on them is just barely around the edge of the decal. There's hardly any extra carrier film to worry. This is number three. I think I like number three. There's a there's a couple of danger ones that have a fairly large danger uh, background. It's a white danger background with. I'm going to have to read what it says before I put it on there, right? Make sure it makes sense being used where I'm going to put it. Let's see. On number three. Let me take number three gray out. We'll look at it closer. I can even use my magnifier if I have to. Maybe take a screenshot of it or something. Let's see what caution on the three looks like here. I'm going to take a photo of this and then zoom in. So danger. There we go. Now we zoom in. Okay, it says use caution when working in this area as hot gas may discharge when the panel is open. Please refer to the manual for procedures. I mean, that's what that decal says. I mean, there it is, magnified. I mean, if you look at it, it's these right here, these little danger ones I'm reading, right? So right there with my middle finger, and that's what it says. I mean, you can't read it. I can't read it, and I've got 5 magnifiers on right now, and I still can't read it until I zoom in on it. I may not use those only because that doesn't really make sense to. So let's try. Let's see if we can see what one of these others say. Attention. There's the attention one. So I take a picture of that and then zoom in on it. Ensure charging bolts are primed before launch. Okay, now we're not going to use that one. See something that's kind of a caution or danger. Did I get any of those? Oh, there we go. Danger. Only authorized personnel may are to maintain this module. Work. Let's see what these say. It's nice that I have a good camera. I can zoom in on these. No proper precautions must be taken. That actually works out nicely. I might use those. It's got some decent design to it, so it's gonna pop pretty nicely against this gray color if I use white. Nice. Yeah, so this is on sheet number 3, I think still. Yeah, sheet 3. Yeah, so we'll put the gray one back in there so I can keep it safe. cut some of these off. One of the other things that I use, and if you don't have one, is one of these little guys. This is a coffee cup warmer, which I use to keep my decal water warm. Works awesome. So let's see, which ones do I want to use these on? Which one was it? Oh crap! Now I can't remember which one I looked at. Tell you I'm getting old. I forget. I guess I should just look at the camera again. Mentioned me. So that was the caution one. Okay, now I remember. Manage your channel directly. Twitch is going live, going strong. Notifications on there too. So, there we go. Now, and these are what's cool about the way they printed these too, is they printed rows that are left and right. So you can, if you have a symmetrical kit where you want to have a caution label facing one direction on the left arm or whatever it is you're doing, you can do that because there is a mirror image of both of them, both types on the same sheet. So you don't have to worry about having a kit that looks symmetrical. They're just their thought was done in the production of these decals. So I think what I'm going to do, since the window's on the same side, I'm only going to use one. And I think I want to use that one. And I've got one. Oh, this is kind of interesting. That one's, well, you know, these are different angle. I might have to change it up. So these two. I'm going to do two. I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to do two facing that direction. Come about the edge of the sheet. Using my knife. Okay. Never thought of that with a warmer. Yeah, because when you go to the or whatever, you grab yourself some hot water, and 30 minutes later, I mean, you guys know, decals come off a lot easier when they're warm. When the water's warm, they tend to carry paper, and I'm just grabbing another one of these little blue things from decals here. 7 o'clock straight up almost. All right, so setting these with my Mr. Mark softener, right? I have the setter as well, but I only soften first. It seems they both have softener in them, but I always tend to use that one first. So I have two of these because two of these are facing the same direction. So I'm just going to do those two, and then I'll decide which ones to use for these other vertical ones. I've got 4 more vertical pens. We have to use a different decal. So now that is, it's still actually, you know, because I got this water and it's not exactly warm yet. This particular cup warmer has 2 settings. You have a high and a low. The red light is high. It's kind of looks like it's pulsing on the screen, but you can put it on low. But it will actually warm a cold solution up pretty quickly, even if it's not all very warm. Works out really, really well. So it's not warm just yet. I didn't get it quite warm enough when I walked in here. So it's going to take a little bit longer for this to release from the paper. I also figure I've got these panels here, these larger ones. I also want to put some decals too. Primarily the ones I'm using the caution ones for the ones that have that little window that I'm going to add some fibers to. So yeah, this is nice and ready to go. All right. Oh yeah, that's gonna look amazing because it's just a nice dark gray, and then you have this stark white panel. I also use these same Q-tips for doing decals because they're very good at rolling out the moisture, the water underneath. Just get a little damp, and then just roll it across, and it pushes all the squeegees all that water out from underneath it. If you have to make an adjustment, you can also do that too, which I'm going to here. I'm gonna re-wet it. There we go. Just get it just a little bit. I want to make sure these are straight. These decals are tough. I mean, they're all around. I mean, everything you would want in a decal, you get these Cartograph decals. They're durable, they're clean, and they just go on so incredibly smooth. I always recommend putting them on a high gloss finish. There are a few people out there who would tell you otherwise, that that's not necessary. And you're right; it isn't absolutely necessary. But I think I get less or better results and less possibility of any kind of wear or silvering underneath it because it's a high gloss finish. If you try putting it on flat, you just have to deal with that type of, those things have underneath the decal, that kind of the silvering or air bubbles underneath because it's a irregular surface. A flat surface is textured. I'm just using a little bit of softener on here. After that has sat for a couple seconds, I'll go back and hit that again. Yep, this is ready to go. Now that my water is getting warmer, these are coming off a lot quicker. You might see me go back to the water as I peel this off, and all I'm doing is just putting a little bit more water under the decal so it's not dry when I hit it to where I'm placing it, because then I can move it around and adjust it. And that's just my way of doing it. You guys can develop your own technique. Um, I just seem to find it a little bit easier. Well, it doesn't. When you want it to be able to move around and adjust it. If you put a decal on when it's a little too dry, sometimes you can't move it. It just won't adjust. Room here. Let me move some stuff out. Bench is crowded with equipment. So I've got that first one on. I put a little softener on there already. I'm going to hit it again just a little bit, soften that edge. Once these are flat coated, it will blend right in. It'll look like it's painted on. That's what you're going for. My friends find silvering quite unacceptable. Yeah, it's true. I mean, when I was judging contests, and one of the things I look for, and it's just, it's a it's I don't want to use the word base. It's not a basic thing. Decals are not that complicated, but they can be challenging for some people. That's why they prefer to use stickers or whatever. But decals, I think, along with other than dry transfers, look the best. I think, and are, if you do them right, your build will be amazing. Two came out awesome. Like I said, these decals lay down so nicely. They look really, really nice. See if you can- Actually, wow, you can really see them on camera. So I'm doing right here. See if I can get that to focus. There's that one caution label there. You can see it looks really, really nice. And then I'm going to put some fiber optics in that little window there. So that should look really, really nice. The other one's over here. So yeah, really crisp, really clean. They lay down so nicely. And they're not model specific, so you can use them for whatever you want. You know, Gundam, Macross, whatever you want. Just read them first to make sure that if you are going to be that anal about it, make sure that the appropriate caution is being used for wherever you're putting it. You're not putting a propellant tank decal on something that's not a propellant tank or something like that. But you look at these other ones here. I'm using this gray one as a reference only because I can see them better. But I wonder if I should. I've got four vertical panels that I want to put another function. I suppose I could just flip them and just use the same decal, only just rotate it 90 degrees. Might work. Unless I see something different. Maybe on number two. Let's try number two. Let's see. Let's look at number two. So where are we at? We're at 707. Oh, that one is nice. I'm going to use those. Okay. All right. I've got some of these that say danger high voltage power. I like that. Yeah, that's what I'm using. Okay. So now that I've seen what you have, that's on sheet number two. I'm going to, as soon as I find them on the white sheet here. Hell, they was white, wasn't it? Gray. Yeah, that's sheet two. Thought I just saw it. Oh, gotcha. Right above a warning one. That's why I missed it. Okay, so that's a rotational hazard. No, that's not the one. Where was it? Oh, it's mixed in. Okay. So there's 3 rows in the center row. Okay, that's why I missed it. All right. So I'll take 4 of those. Good God, where have I got the same sheet? Yeah, that's no, it is not. Yeah, it is. Heck, why am I having such a hard time finding this? Okay, now I found it. Good God. It's just hard to see the white decals on this sheet because it's not very bright. I see it really nicely on the gray, but when I go to find it on here, it just washes out. All right, so I'm going to use these on the other 4. So do them all at once since that large, and I can easily put these panels on, put these on one at a time and get them all set. It only takes a few seconds in the water. Let them sit there for a minute. They'll come right off. So, how's everybody doing? We got 5 people on this stream. Let's see what's going on Twitch. Twitch is there. Not sure. It's kind of hard to see. I got one. Yeah, I can't really tell. Not used to Twitch, so I'm not sure how many people are watching, if it watch. A few seconds here. This will be ready to go. And I'm just going to put those on these other vertical panels, and then I'll figure out what I want to do for these. There's actually a couple decals that have like a circle. I don't know. Maybe not. Might not work. It might not look well. So we'll figure it out. But these dudes ready to come right off. Come on, baby. All right. Start with the first one. Screw it. Well, that's perfect. The width of that is just perfect because it fits right on that panel nicely. A little bit extra. Get that nice and straight. Don't get your decals crooked. Someone like me is going to come along and see it. Isn't that funny? Ryan will contest to that. He said I murdered him at first show one of the first shows we went to together. It's Kurkon. He said I murdered him. Tore his kid apart. Might have been because of decals. I don't know. So there we go. I got those on there. Let them sit for a second. I'll roll them out. If you do end up trying to squeeze the water out of these and it gets out of place, you can just let your Q-tip again, go back over to it, and it will. You can put some water underneath it again and loosen it up so you can make your adjustment again and then redo it. I really like the way these lay down. They don't move much. Get them in your spot. If you let them sit for a second and just roll them out, they're usually pretty good. A little bit off. There we go. Just go back and forth on those. Now they're ready for some softener. I don't recommend this, but if you leave white decals near a slice of Domino's pizza, you can change I guess you're speaking from experience. Yeah, good job, Ron. Although pizza is probably one of the model builders food groups, I would say. A lot of people eat pizza. I love pizza. I haven't had pizza in a while. Now you got me thinking about pizza, Ron. Damn it. I'm going to go to Sahara's. I want to call them up. Have them bring me one. Yeah. Sounds good. All right. I'm really happy with that. That looks good because they'll say high voltage power and nothing else. It's kind of simple. Just basically telling you, "Hey, stay away," that kind of thing. Works out nice. Doo-doo-doo. Cheers, everybody. How's everybody's Sunday afternoon going? Sunday evening, or depending on where you're watching, maybe Monday morning. I don't know. Could be. I wish George was on tonight. He was asking me yesterday if I was going to be on. Thought he'd make an appearance, but it doesn't seem like he made it on tonight. No worries. Be able to watch at another time. Okay, let's look at these decals and see what I want to do in these large panels. I think I'm gonna leave these alone. These little tiny ones. You know what? No, I don't know. Never say never. I might find some little circles that work out now. So I'm looking at the white. I'm gonna have to look at the gray again. It's just so much easier to see the gray ones and pick. Did I see those danger ones before? Let me look at those and see if I got my picture. eBay, what do you want? What do you want, eBay? So danger. Yeah, I did see those. Use caution. Working in this area, hot gas may discharge when it. Well, that might actually work. Yeah, I like that. And they're two-sided. You can use either or, but I don't need them to be. Okay, I think I'm going to use that. That's on sheet 3. Put that back and go back to sheet number 3. 2, 3. Here we go. Yeah, just use those danger logos. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6 of those. 6 dangers. We'll just do one direction. All right. Yeah, it might actually fit right in there nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Crossed. Cut these 6 out. My razor blade is not too sharp right now. I can tell. It's the way I like it. I'll do 3 to 12. It's pretty big. I'll start with these 3. Yeah, Ron, get you one of these cup warmers, man. You like 20 bucks on Amazon. Not much. The one I got too, this comes with a little puck in case you have a whatever cup you're using. This is flat on the bottom, so it switch back to low now because this is getting pretty warm. And when you lift it off, you'll notice the light blinks. It's, it's pressure sensitive, so it only comes on when you have your cup on there. But in case you have a cup that has a opening on the bottom, like it's concave, it's not flat, they have a little ceramic puck thing you can stick to the bottom of it. It helps for even warming. See how quickly those came off with hot water? Man, that was fast. No, don't you curl on me. Some bitch is trying to curl. There we go. Yeah, that was weird. It was trying to curl on me. Is that going to work? You know what? I think I'll move it up here. There we go. It's just big enough that what I did there with the Q-tip was I was just adding a little bit of water. It's a little dry. I'm just making sure I can move it around and get it into place. A little square on the bottom of this decal. I'm going to wants to curl a little bit, so it took me a little extra just to kind of get it curled as soon as I took it off the paper. Yeah, one more. Oops, you just did it again. As soon as I add that water to it, it says nope. That's good. Okay. Just making sure that these have adequate adhesion. You add a little bit of water. See that on me. Get it quick enough, you can actually lift it right back off if need be, but all I'm doing is just moving it around slightly. Cool. Roll it out. Yeah, that looks nice. And then I'll stick these other three in. While those are waiting, I get some soft. Jumping on Amazon. Oh, for the, for the cup warmer? Yeah. It's just one of those investments that you guys will, so worth it. Makes it so much nicer. Just, you're not fighting against your water getting cold. It just sits there. It's a nice temperature. I use mostly the low setting most of the time. I don't need it on high unless I'm trying to warm it up. If it's cold, sometimes I'll do decals, and the next day I come back, my water's still sitting here. Rather than just get more, I just turn it on and let it heat up. Eventually it warms it right. It definitely works well. I can send you a link if you want the one that I got, if that makes a difference. But if it doesn't matter to you, then just look up cup warmers and go from there. I'm placing the other three here now. Just adding a little bit of water. This one was a little dry. I could see that even though I've got high gloss, it's still, if you get it dry, it doesn't want to lay down perfect. One more. All right. I like it. It really changes the way this looks by adding those extra little decals on the back here, which looks nice. All right. Two, and then one more. Add some softener to these, and then we're good to go. I'll take a link personally. Remind me of the show. I will send it when I'm done here. Yeah, I mean, I bought one for my wife too. She actually used it for what the intended purpose was because she works from home now, so she enjoys her coffee or tea or whatever it is she wants to keep warm. That way, she's not running up and down the stairs trying to get fresh cup or something. She can keep it warm. Works out great. All right, just taking some of that excess softener off because too much will obviously destroy a decal. You got to be careful. So just good enough where you see those edges kind of bubble up a little bit. All right. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna try to reposition this real quick. This one's a little bit off. See if we can lift it. Oh, there we go. Shit. That was close. I lifted it, but because it was already had the softener on, really better. It moved quite a bit. Be careful not to distort it too much. Hmm. I think it's all right. Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, good. Now I just got to decide what's this. Hey, what's up? Oh yeah, I bet I could use those things and warm drinks too. You could. It's what it's for. I mean, it's designed for. It's a decent size. I mean, I imagine they make bigger ones, but I think it was $3. Not a huge investment, but certainly nice. And I got nice warm water right now. It keeps it nice and toasty. Helps your decals move off really nice. So what do you think, guys? Should I put something on these little ones here? I got one, two, three, four, five. I got six of those as well. Should I put some kind of a panel, something on the decal on those, or leave it alone? What do you think? So far, this is what I got. If I can get it to, without seeing that gloss. There we go. So you're saying no. Yeah, you like those left alone? I think the big panels look nice with the decals on them. Or if I did anything there, maybe do like a red uh, a red caution or red, you know, high voltage logo or something like that. I think there's some of those. But other than that, yeah, I think I'm satisfied with what's there. There are some little, let's see here. Sheet number, I got 2 and 3 here. Where's sheet number 1? There we go. Sheet number 1. Yeah, that's got some. I mean, I could, but you're planning to smudge it up? You mean the back wall? It will be weathered. This whole thing will be weathered. Right now, I'm just in the process of doing panel line, so everything is still really pristine. When I flat coat it, then I can add some streaking, rust, or um, um, like soot, not soot, but oil stain, that kind of thing, like some kind of gray streaking or something like that. So yeah, I plan on doing all that. I guess I could start paneling these. These are the side pieces. Roof section's pretty much done as far as decals are concerned. Turn that off. Back to some panel lines on these. A little bit of that complex stuff up here where the lights are going to be, and then I've got these side panels. But I'm really happy with the color separation on these and how that turned out. It turned out really. happy with that. I'm just going to move this since I don't need it right now. I'm going to take the water this guy's side so I don't put my arm on it. It's still pretty hot. Do the 3 center points overhang for decal. Are you talking about? You talking about this stuff? Because those are going to be. I mean, those are kind of like this. What do you mean decaled in what way? Or are you talking about you? I don't know. Maybe you can describe what you're talking about. I'll see if I can. You talking about on the back wall or those center sections? What are you talking about? About here, previous piece. So this one, right? Now, what are you talking about? Up here? Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't know what I could put up there. The back wall. Okay, yeah, I got that. Let's put this aside then. We're still talking about the back wall. Up top. Okay, so up top, up here somewhere. Yeah, but what would I put up there? That's really high up, and there's going to be this roof section. This is going to go here. Okay. So that snaps on just like that. Flat center on each post. So somewhere along these areas here, is that what you mean? Let me get back to this. Get that off of there. Oh, here. You're talking about here? Like these? Yeah, I guess you're right. That might be interesting. That's like the top of the hanger. Let me know if this is what you're talking about. If you're talking about these 3 pieces like I'm holding my fingers on right now. Yep. Okay. Yeah, what would I put up there? I don't know. I could put, you know what I could do? I could put a smaller 09 if I have it. Like in the center. Let's see here. I've got these generic. I got these. Unfortunately, there's no 09 here because I got some really cool numbers on these, but they're a little too big. Maybe. Let's see. I'll take one of these out. This is a generic number. The numbers. They have them in gray and white on the same sheet. So I can do like a 09 or something like to match the day number. That might work. Ooh, look at that. Holy shit, there's a 09 right there. It's one decal. All I got to do is, you got me thinking, buddy. All right, maybe I better pull the water back up here. It's still warm. All right, so we're gonna cut off this 09. We're doing it. We're doing it. I haven't even finished that section yet, though. I haven't even figured out how I'm going to seal all that off yet, but I will deal with it later. All right. So we're going to soak this in the water. Oh, dang. There's 09. I thought it was a 60. You've been looking at it upside down. Sorry, buddy. You've been looking at it upside down this whole time. All right, just let that sit for a second. I can't remember how well these. Oops, that's not what I want. I want this guy. I can't remember how well these decals are. These old numbers. I think they're pretty good. They transfer pretty well. They're not like the cartographs for sure, but I've had pretty good success. Yeah, I guess it does look like it's 60. Wonder if I should paint over a piece of this. Like this was done on graph paper, quarter-inch graph paper. I made these little stencils with. In fact, here's the zero, what's left of it. So I used that as a base, but I originally had the bottom of this 9 a bit thicker. I went back over it and painted it with the gray because I thought it was just too much. It matched the zero. It was just too much bulk down here at the bottom, so I redid the stencil and painted over that. But I'm wondering if I should take off a notch of that 9. If that curl is too high, like maybe take a quarter-inch off of that. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. All right, this is removed. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right on. Right dead center. There. All right, Drew, you got your wish. There you go. You got a 0.9. Make sure it's straight in the center. That's pretty good. Let it sit for a minute, and then I will. Yeah, I was struggling with trying to figure out. I've used the number 20 before. I didn't want to use it again because the Valkyrie actually has a 0.2 as part of the decals on the Valkyrie. So I was like, I don't want to put a 2 and a 0 there. It'll be kind of confusing with a 0.2 and a 20. So what number to pick? And what bay? How many bays are there in a hangar on a ship? Is there 60 bays, 50 bays? Which number should I use? So I decided to go with something small. 0.9 is believable. There's going to be more than 9, but 42 forever, huh? Yeah, see, that's the thing. 20 has been a big number for me because that was the number I before when I played hockey. It was the number that of one of my favorite players back in the day. It was number 20, so I always use 20 on most things. So I didn't want to do that again. All right, we'll let that softness sit on there. So there you go. How's that? Yeah. Nice little touch, huh? To the point I can give the rest away. Yeah. So you buy a whole sheet, you use 42, and then you just throw the rest away. Is that what you're saying? I guess that makes sense. That's how we end up with extra decals of everything because we're trying to make sure that's straight. Otherwise, I got to peel it off of there. I think it is. I think we're good. Yeah. Good enough for the rivet counters, right? Okay, now I think I'm done with decals. I don't know. Well, for tonight anyway. Okay, before I put this away, Drew, is there anything else you want to see on here? Believe me, I encourage all the feedback because this is a work in progress. Ideas. I may not think of something you guys think of. If you got an idea, let me know because if it's cool, I'll put it into the project for sure. That's how we work together. Thanks, Ron. I dig it too, buddy. I am Ron, damn it. When he started saying bay, I was thinking docking bay at first. How many bays are on a ship? Well, that's true. That's what I'm asking. I'm sure Macross has several service bays for Valkyries, and essentially that's what this is going to be kind of like a. So that's what this little guy is hanging out here. This is the high voltage cart. Oh, I should talk about this one. I'm thinking about it. On the floor here, let me get these, set these aside. On the floor, okay, here is, this is facing you, so the back wall is going here. This cart is going to go, that hole you see here is for the wiring to go through the floor. So the cart's going to sit right about here. And I was going to put an IC connector in. That's why I cut this hole out so I could stuff an IC connector through there. But I'm wondering if I should ground this out, kind of route this out a little bit, and put that. There's another thing that, let me go back a little bit. Another question that came up was, am I going to secure the Valkyrie to the base? Is it going to be glued down because I got wires going to this and wires going to the floor? How can I glue it down? Or am I going to make it serviceable where I can take it apart? I got the idea, and I'm wondering if I could grind this out a little bit on the bottom where this hole is, and put that, mount an IC connector down, and then just plug it in. Have the other female end here, and then I could set the Valkyrie down, and then just go plug it in and be done with it. And then that would complete the circuit through to the power supply and back. So I think that's what I want to do, because that way I can take it apart, like I've been saying, take pieces off, be able to transport it a little bit easier. When you start saying random burns, debris, anything, there's going to be some of that. I haven't. I mean, I'm always adding to it. So here, I'll put this on screen so everybody can see it. So yeah, stuff on the ground. Yeah, this is obviously very, very clean right now because I've just only done the panel lines. I even have a stencil that has kind of like a random. I might shoot some of that over it to have a little bit of a discoloration, or I might use some of my AK oil stain, put some oil stain. Actually, you just drip it on there and it will actually spread out like an oil stain. Yeah, that sounds awesome. That's right on switch. Yeah, I mean, I'll still have the battery in the back, Ron, that I could just disconnect or whatever. But I think being able to just plug this in and leave it there, no one's really going to see underneath it that much. And if they do, it's just going to look like a little black box, really, because I'll only have the tip of that IC connector just basically flush with the floor, and then the two pins will come out of the bottom of this. Is what I'm thinking. And then it's just a matter of lining that, sticking it down, and then it'll be in the same place all the way. The wires will go to the Valkyrie right here in the middle. Shouldn't have to. At least that way, it's a little more modular. Most of the stuff I've ever built with, especially with electronics, has always been modular, where I can take it apart, transport it, or ship it. Like I took that 120 scale Valkyrie to California right before the pandemic that year with the SCGMC with it, and I literally made that entire kit modular. Well, I could take the wings off, the nose cone off, everything, the legs, everything was plug and play. So I had to literally assemble that on site, and it was nerve wracking, but it was doable. So I think by doing that with this, I think it'd be nice. I think that's what I'm going to do. I just got to somehow figure out how much I've got to, how far down it's got to sit. So when it sits flat, I want it to be a perfect fit and a nice connection there. So I got to figure that. Turns on like something out of Indiana Jones. Yeah, I suppose. So yeah, and then I've got the other cart that's going to be somewhere over here. That was the nitrogen cart. It has the tanks on it. I haven't brought him over in a while. But So this one's not finished either. I have to panel line these and weather them and whatever. The control panel for this hasn't even been glued on, but this has it'll be sitting over here somewhere around this other wall because the walls are basically here and around, and the back wall didn't have pins to support that, so I actually mounted some eight, excuse me, is it 1/8 inch? Yeah, 1/8 inch plastic rod. I drilled these holes out. That so when this thing goes on, it actually fits right on it very nicely, just like that. So that will glue down and give it some extra support. I suppose since you guys are here, I can mount the side pieces and see that too, because originally I didn't have these corner pieces glued on. These little corner pieces right here were not attached. Now all this fits together pretty precisely. I got to really kind of work it in there. There it goes, just like that. And this one, of course, goes on over here, just like that. Spin this around. There you go. And then again, still LED, 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 LED. 6 LEDs around the roof section. And those are wide angle flat tip LEDs that are going to be there. And I'm really dying to wait to see what that's going to look like, because it's not a terrible amount. It's not a bunch of light, but it's going to be enough combined with 6 LEDs to kind of light up that back panel. And then it's going to be really cool to have those fiber optics lighting up these little glints of light coming in each of those structural panels back there. Just don't hurt the cockpit. Yeah, well, I already knocked the canopy off once. Believe me. Yeah, this is. It took 3 tries. It took 3 tries to get it right the first time, because it was crooked. I glued it. I had to kind of pop it off and do it again. Yeah, so finally I had it straight, and then I knocked it off on one of the streams here. You guys saw. Some of you guys saw, and so I had to go back and reattach it to the hinges. The hinges were still there. And that took another 3 tries to get it as straight as possible, because I know if I go to an IPMS event, there's going to be some aircraft genius there looking at it, and he's going to be like, "Oh, that's not straight. That can't be deduct points." Like James would say, the rivet counter would be there, But so anyway, I'm really happy with this. Fits together now. This is all finished off, but my struggle is with all this stuff, all this open wrap in the bag. So I think I'm going to take some sheet styrene and just finish off these, so it just looks like, no details, just something basic and flat. Paint it, so I can. It just won't look ugly. I just don't like the way it looks, as far as like the sides of these open back panels just with nothing on. So I think I'll put some styrene, close that all up. It'll look a lot nicer. So yeah, that's that. That's the way that sits. I really like the way these decals look. Really makes this back wall look a lot nicer. So I gotta pop these off. This is a tight, snug fit. There we go. Once I glue everything down, oh, this sounds bad. It sounds like I'm breaking shit. I pop it off. So I still have to panel line all the struts here. I will pop this roof off. I still have to do all that, but I think I'm going to start just putting some panel lining on these. Well, you know what? No, I want to finish this. Since I've done the background, I just need to do the strut, so I might as well just do that. Get it done. I want to, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ron. I really do. Yeah, appreciate all kind words you guys have thrown me over the years, and this project. I think Macross is one of my biggest passions. I know I like Gundam stuff too, but Macross has started my journey and love of anime in Japanese anime in my life anyway, back in the 80s. My decal sheets away here until I need to pull them back out. But for now, seal them back up. So I always enjoy my Macross builds. I think so even Gundam stuff. Even though I think it seems like Gundam is more popularity than Macross, but I still think that, you know, if I had a choice between what you want to build, I'm going to say Macross. I got my fair share of Gundam stuff too in there in my backlog. So, all right, back to Helen. We have another 8 minutes or so. We'll call it a night. I'm just going to see how much of this I can get done. I think I'll just start with this front section. Since these are all three-dimensional, I guess I don't have to do the back so much because you're not going to see that. I'll know it's there, so I'm going to probably end up paneling. You know, it's my kit. I know it's there. It's like I got some Gundam kits that have pilots that I put inside the belly of them, and you'll never see them again. But I know they're there. I even painted one with Macross pilot once. I know it's blasphemy, right? Blasphemy. So many sides to this. Added a bunch of styrene to these too, so there's a bunch of extra surface areas that go around. But it's going to look sweet. I think it'll look nice. Take a little time to do it justice, but yep, just filling in all those spots. A lot of surface areas, a lot of nooks that I got to do this panel line color in there. Yeah. And this kind of helps the process too, doing these videos and stuff. It's kind of fun. Just hanging out, camaraderie with your friends and fellow builders. Helps pass the time and adds to the whole process. Hey, Lucas, what's up, man? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Oh, is this your first time on? I don't remember if I've seen you on before. Maybe you have, and I just missed it. But we're just working on the back wall base for the Valkyrie. Dumping some panel line color on all this. Before we call it a night and start the week over, go back to work tomorrow. Past 4 weeks I've been off on Monday because I had to work Saturdays, but this was going back to Monday through Friday for like 8 weeks. I don't have to get up and go to work. Yay. Gotta make that dollar. Been on a few times, yeah. I know I said that, but I'm pretty sure I said it before. I'm old. I don't remember these things. You know, what are you gonna do? So almost done with the initial application for this front section here. And I'll start working at the other end and work my way back. It's dry enough. Dry enough that I start cleaning it up. AK odorless thinner. The other stuff is good. I really like it, mainly for the odorless part because it's nice. It doesn't stink at all. It works really well. I bought a lot of it. Lost power up here a few times. Oh yeah, was it from weather or something? Is that why you lost power? Or was there some other reason you think? I don't know. We had some high winds a few days ago, and we lost power at work for a bit. Yeah, crazy wind. Yeah, that's what I figured. I actually got lucky. It was windy at my house, but not nearly as bad. I work in Shoreline. It was blowing bad up there in Shoreline. It was crazy. We were, a few of us had just showed up to work, and we started our day, and one of the guys was in the back room, and all of a sudden the lights went out, came on, went out, came on again, then went out, and the energy generators kicked in, and limited light. Really wasn't much we had there, but yeah, it was crazy. We were out for about 2.5 hours. Didn't get our power back till about 9 a.m., 9:30. So, well, boys and girls, we're about 8 o'clock, almost 2 hours. I finished cleaning up this last little bit of panel light color here, and then we'll head off into the sunset till next episode. Part 8 of this diorama. Part 8, since I've been actually doing videos of it. Probably many more parts involved, but only 8 videos. See, only. A lot more than I thought. I was trying to go in and see how many I did because I was trying to include that in the description, what part I'm at, and surprised to see that I was actually had 7 or 6 total videos before that. So. All right, boys and girls. Look, it's been awesome. Thanks for joining me, everybody. It's Mikey Wine, Kind of Money Works. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Appreciate all the support for this art form, and all you guys who've been there with me across this journey are always awesome. I really appreciate it more than you guys know. So next week we'll see where we're at. I'm going to continue doing the panel lining and start weathering this thing. Hopefully we'll see. But in a couple of weeks I'm going to be taking a trip, so not a lot of work's going to be done that last week or so until we get back. Won't be on stream in 2 weeks because I'll be in California, but I will try to do something live there, maybe on Saturday at the event. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for joining. Good works out, and be good humans, everybody. Be nice to everybody. Talk to you soon. See you next time.